Are you struggling to hear God's voice? Here are 3 things that help you to hear Him clearly. The first thing you should do is to pray. For one, prayer is a place where God will oftentimes speak to you. But it's also in prayer that you're drawn into deeper intimacy with God, you're in communion with Him, and you fellowship with Him. Prayer helps you to align to God's will, be conformed to the image of Christ, and be made holy as the Lord is holy. And the more that you're like God, the more that you're going to think like Him. The more that you're like God and the more that you think like Him, the easier that is going to be for you to hear His voice. And naturally, of course, if you want to get better at hearing God's voice or you need help with hearing God's voice, you should just ask God for help. And pray and ask Him to speak to you clearly and help you to understand that He's speaking to you. The second thing you can do to help you to hear God's voice is to read the Word of God. Reading the Word of God increases you in discernment for one, and this is going to help you to discern on whether or not God's actually speaking to you. But also, God regularly speaks to His Word too as well, and sometimes if you want a word from God, all you need to do is open the Bible. But reading the Word of God also helps you to have a mind like Christ, and if you have a mind like Christ, it's going to be a lot easier for you to hear God's voice. And anything and everything that you hear in life that you think might be from God, you need to make sure to compare it to the Word of God, because God is never going to contradict His Word. And the third thing you should do is to listen to Christian music. You might think this is really random, but this is something that's actually personally helped me to hear the voice of God better. And it's simply because Christian music helps you to set your mind on things that are above and not the things of this earth. And as well, it helps you to have a mind like Christ and to focus on God. And just like everything else, when you have a mind like Christ and you have a mind that's set on the things that are above and not the things of this earth, it's going to make it much more easier for you to hear the voice of God. And even in some cases too, with the music that you're listening to, God might minister to you through that music and speak to you through it as well. But here are 3 little things that you can do to help you to hear the voice of God. And I hope that this helped and that this is of use to you. If you want more content like this, just going to drop a sub or a follow. And if you want to hear more teachings from me that are outside of short form content, I want to recommend you join my Bible classes every single Thursday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern on Google Meets.